You don't have to move away from anything or anyone to be in the vortex. You just have to understand that it is there. Do you? Do you believe the vortex is a reality that is there? Do you believe that it's accessible to you, by you? Do you understand that it's just a vibration away? Esther didn't get it either until recently, the momentum that could be built. She wants to get a toehold of something, just something, and then milk it and milk it and milk it and milk it and milk it until now she knows so unequivocally what it feels like to be in that vortex that nothing else is tolerable. She said to Jerry, I'm in the vortex and I'm never coming out. And then she said, don't make me come out. And out she went. But it doesn't matter, because when you're out, when you've been in, you know you can get right back in. In other words, we want to make this vibrational reality so real to you that you stop giving any conversation to not being in there. Sure, a lot of you aren't in there. So what? Get in. But Abraham, I'm not in for it. So what? Get in. But you don't understand. So what? Get in. Get in. Get in. Get in. Get in. No more excuses. Get in. So how to get around that? How do you shift the way you feel? In other words, we used to play a lot as we had written the book when it had recently been written, ask and it is given. And we aren't kidding about it. When you ask, it is given. And we teased that people would say that can't be true. Where's my stuff? Because I know I've been asking, where is it? And we say it's waiting for you in this vibrational reality, waiting for you to stop dominantly believing that it isn't there. It's the same thing that you can't find something that you believe is lost. You have to get distracted from it, where you're no longer keeping active that vibration that you can't find it. And when you get distracted, it turns right up in your experience. Because when you ask, it is given, but the path of least resistance has to do with the resistance, you see. So how does someone change a belief about something to allow what they want in? Well, the way you do it is by reaching for thoughts that feel increasingly better to you. You feel your way into alignment. Everything is about your proximity to your vortex. So sometimes people talk about faith. They have faith that something that they haven't seen happen will happen. And we say the true definition of faith is the understanding of the laws of the universe, understanding that your source stands in complete compliance and becoming of the expanded version of you. And when you understand the reality of that, and you pay attention to the way you feel, you can trust that anything that you want will be. Then it's just a matter of discipline. Then it's just a matter of directing your mind. Esther got on a sort of rampage where she was basking her way to sleep every night, and then awakening in the morning and coming back into basking and appreciating, and then moving right into some focus wheels, which we'll talk about here today, which cleaned up some random screwy vibration. And then she'd go into a list of positive aspects and off into a rampage of appreciation. And she was just tuning herself into the vortex deliberately, getting into the vortex, which simply means releasing any thought that would hold her out. That's all that being in the vortex means. It's cleaning up your vibration, ridding yourself of resistant thought that holds you out of the vortex. And then she began to notice that life from inside the vortex. First she began to say to Jerry, I had no idea how often I was not in the vortex until I got in and really felt what it feels like. From inside the vortex, there is a clarity and a feeling of well-being. It's like being soothed. It's like knowing the all is wellness. It makes things that have loomed large seem nitpicking and unimportant, while the well-being is what radiates. And so, as they find themselves, by deliberate focus, more and more often inside the vortex, then the universe can play the game of cooperative components from inside the vortex. In other words, imagine being vibrationally inside your vortex and therefore emotionally soaring with fun and frisky and thrill and love, and moving around your physical planet under those conditions. You're going to break loose into a whole new creating pattern. Things that have been log jammed for a long time are going to loosen up for you. When you want something, let's say more money, and you are so aware of how much money you have and so aware of what your debt to income ratio is and so aware of what's going on in the economy or so aware of the reality of what is right now this red hot minute. Even though you've asked for far more and far more is queued up for you and could come to you now, because it's done. All you have to do is find the vibrational equivalency to it, and it must pour into your experience in a way that you and others can see it. But you've got to be a vibrational match to it, not the absence of it. And the tricky thing about being the realist that you've been objectively trained to be is that when you truthfully tell it like it is right now and train your vibration into that thought, which makes it that belief, which makes it that expectation, which makes it that point of attraction, you hold yourself away from your fortune that is waiting for you only because of a little sloppy focusing. Or maybe because you don't understand the laws of the universe.